Oh, does it just go out? Is that just a different entrance? That looks like a different entrance.
Hello there.
Charm? You tamed a juvenile Arctis? You just... What are you doing? What is up, YouTube? Welcome to another Guild Wars Wednesday, where we're going to be streaming exactly that, Guild Wars 2. We've been doing this on Wednesdays, and this was one of my favorite streams I have done in such a long time. It was the first ever stream that we did on YouTube itself, and it was extremely successful. We had so many chatters come in, and I just wanted to take a second to thank every single new Slay Runner that joined us. The Guild Wars 2 community has been so welcoming and so friendly, so major props to that. It was awesome. But you're not here to learn about stream, you're here to learn about how I did in Guild Wars 2. This is part 3 of our blind playthrough, and if you want to catch the other parts, please go do so before you watch this one. Alright, now that we're all caught up and we're all here, we know exactly what's been going on and what's about to go on. In this part, we actually didn't get to progress the storyline at all, but instead focused on finalizing these last waypoints that we had discovered in the previous 2 parts. Our first waypoint was directly to the north of us, and we made our way there. We come across a bridge, and unsurprisingly, underneath the bridge, there's a bridge troll. And I wanted to add this part because this is just yet another example of how exploring the open world has these fun little quirks and rewards, and that's what makes Guild Wars 2 so fun right now. After the troll encounter, we are immediately greeted by this huge sprawling castle, which I was totally taken aback by. I had no idea this type of structure was here, and it literally just popped up out of the horizon from nowhere, and I was so excited to go in and explore it. It appears that inside the castle grounds is a lot of profession trainers. This is actually probably where you're getting the tutorial on how to do professions in Guild Wars 2. I don't really have an interest in this activity at this time because I don't want to get too overwhelmed with it. Chat did help me learn how to equip professional equipment to be able to start harvesting materials, but at the end of the day, I decided to sell all of my trade goods and create more bag space for my adventures. Actually, while exploring the castle, this random event popped up to stop these ghosts from doing ghost things, and look how many players showed up to help with this. I don't know if this is like an endgame thing. These mobs were really hard to kill, but I had fun helping the community stop this little event. After the event, I run up to the top of the castle and this mountain to discover another Assassin's Creed synchronization moment. Check this one out. Very pretty. Much love. We then make our way over to the quest objective that was closest to us, and this guard wants us to protect the roads from the Souvenir. Once again, the evil Vikings. We quickly use our godlike accuracy and clean up the rest of these evil Vikings. We check the vendor, then move on to the next heart. Here was an extremely fun but a little complicated quest objective. So this dude here wants to study the Jotun's runes. He thinks that they're actually like written words and language, and he wants to study them, but the Jotun only use them as a currency. So he needs a way to be able to trade, but they don't really want to trade because they're too stupid. So you have to go around collecting items from each of them that the other one is willing to buy. I called this the Pokemon TCG trade up, where you start with like a basic energy and you try to get as high of an expensive a card as possible. A lot of people have seen those YouTube videos. This was that in quest form, and it was really interesting. At one point, we pulled out a giant freaking bunny to start the trade. So yeah, chat and I had a very good time with this one, and even more so with the quest reward from it. You get your first armor dye, where I guess this whole time you could have been dyeing your armor. I thought that when you create your character and you choose your armor colors, then that was like a Wizards 101 thing, and that the gear was just the way that the gear looks. But no, in this game, you have dye, and you can change all the gear to pretty much look like whatever you want it to. The starter color sets are fantastic. So I went full RuneScape on this bad boy and spent a good amount of time making sure I liked the way I look. Thank you, Men's Warehouse. After that, we continued on to the next quest area. Just over the ridge, I discovered this gentleman, who 100% isn't sending me into a vault right now to not look for Radaway or kill radroaches, but is sending me in here to deal with the mole men. Okie dokie, I'm very happy to do so. I clear out these mole men very quickly. I actually revive a couple of miners along the way, collect some ore, But the really interesting thing that happens is, as I am exploring further, this little guy catches me out of the corner of my eye. I run over, and I guess I'm able to tame it. Hunter taming in World of Warcraft does not work this way. Basically, see pet, tame pet. But here, it feels like some of the animals are actually rare or hard to find. I don't actually know the whole story behind this. If you would like to let me know how taming works and why it's so important in Guild Wars 2, please do so in the comments below. And while you're there, if you haven't subscribed already, please make sure you do so. It helps us out a bunch. We're very close to 1,000, so help us reach our goal. Thank you so much. After we finish clearing up the rest of the mole men, we return to the rep vendor and move on to our next closest map marker. Along the way, we kind of run into this lodge, which I figured could be like the previous bear summoning event. It doesn't really have a map marker, but it does feel like it's somewhat relevant to the story, or that there is some type of objective that needs to be accomplished here. I talked to every single person, and I went through all the dialogue options. I waited around for a little bit, and nothing really seemed to happen, which was the first time I had been disappointed with what was something that was put onto the map that I couldn't figure out how the developers wanted me to interact with it. I moved on, and to our surprise, discovered that the next area is another giant castle. I guess giant is relative, and because they're so big and pop out of nowhere, sometimes you don't know how to enter these things. We make our way inside and we discover a waypoint, a couple vendors, and of course this quest giver who's standing in front of a jail cell. The jail cell does have evil Vikings standing inside, and the quest givers want us to go clear the roads north of the castle, the similar fashion as the southern castle. Happy to do so. Seriously, evil Vikings that are sexist and evil can kick rocks. Next we find ourselves another scout who's more than happy to Tony Romo my entire frickin' minimap, even over areas that we had already completed. We decide to go to the northernmost heart to discover the outskirts of an evil Viking camp. Super stoked about breeding this thing down. Inside was a decent amount of players, as well as this really cool ice snake statue centerpiece. We actually got here at a really good time too, or we're just really lucky, because a bonus event was happening at the exact moment we decided to come to this quest area. I've noticed that quite a lot, so I'm assuming just the bonus objective events happen pretty often, or it's just been the luckiest god run of all time. Either way, we help with the bonus objective, which spawns this really interesting final boss that actually had some mechanics and was pretty tough. Chat was saying this was my first introduction to dungeon content, as it was the most mechanically intensive thing we've done so far. Yours truly, with the help of others of course, melt this walking popsicle. We check our map one last time and notice that there is a hero talent available for us at the northern edge of the camp. We run up the mountain, collect that real fast, and then return to the vendor. While crossing back through the camp, we actually notice that there is still one more vista available for us here. We run up to the top of the tower and collect that real fast.
What the
At the top of the tower, with my freaky ass bear, I did not want to run back down the stairs, so I decided to jump off. And I can confirm, Guild Wars 2 does in fact have fall damage. Yes, that's right. Part 3, we accrued our first death. Luckily, we are not playing a hardcore character, and even nicer than that is the fact that I was able to get revived by a fellow player. The Guild Wars 2 community truly is a beacon of hope. After that very not embarrassing death, we run down to the next area, we grab this waypoint, and what I believe is the saddest moment in video game history occurs. I notice that, just like my bear, this little mama ox surrounded by her babies have a really interesting action. It says, capture. Of course, I throw my net at it. It starts to get mad. The mommy gets very mad. I ended up having to kill the mommy on stream. This was a freaking chaos moment. Everyone was freaking out. I felt horrible. It felt like I just walked over here and murdered this small little family of ox, only to find out later that this was actually the quest objective that we're supposed to do, which is apparently saving the calves from predators in the area. And to do that, we have to be able to take the babies away and lead them to this new pasture. The mommies get mad, but at least we do end up saving the babies. This is at least what I was telling myself to make it not seem like I had just murdered a random family. even though it is hilarious. And I love Guild Wars 2. We actually finished this objective up and we wrapped up stream shortly after that. This was so much fun, and I want to thank every single person who's been a part of it so far. Please join us on the live streams on Wednesday on YouTube, my channel, exactly where you are right now. Make sure notifications are turned on, and while you're down there, leave me a comment of how I can improve my Guild Wars 2 playthrough. After that comment, you might as well subscribe. We're very close to 1,000, and I would really appreciate your support on this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Until next time, we'll see you guys. Play smart, play with your heart, always be red-nosed. Bye, 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 bye.